Our first speaker is going to be Mrs. Penny Nance. She is CWA's Concerned Women for America's CEO and President. Penny Nance.
Thank you so much for having me this morning. It's just an honor to be here in beautiful North Carolina. I feel like I'm home when I'm here. We are here, I'm here representing the National Office of Concerned Women for America. We have about 500,000 members throughout the nation, about 450 chapters, and by the end of the year we'll have 50 college chapters, so we're very proud of that. I'm just here today in support of our state chapter, our CWA of North Carolina, and also to support the legislation we're working on today. You've got the bill sponsor who's going to be able to answer questions on that. But we view the issue of Sharia law through the context of the least of these. We've got to make sure, no matter who comes to and sets foot on our shores, that they are protected by our great laws. You know, we already possess our human rights that are given to us by God. They're our God-given rights. But unfortunately, there's governments all over the world that don't recognize those. Women are oppressed and abused and hurt. We know that there are child brides that are given throughout the world, and we've got to make sure that when people come here, they're protected by our laws and that they remain imminent. So that's why we're here, and I just appreciate you all being here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Penny. Our next speaker is Mr. Bill Fetter. He is a national author, speaker, and historian and president of AmeriSearch. Bill Fetter.
Thank you. Well, not all countries value human life equally. We believe that all men and women are created equal, as in our Declaration of Independence. Some other countries have customs and laws which allow sex trafficking, sex slavery, forced marriages, even men beating wives, and female mutilation that's forced. As larger number of immigrants from these other countries come to our country, they form communities where they want to continue these practices and laws, which in many times result in the mistreatment of the most vulnerable young women and girls. Some groups have laws and customs which are prejudiced against certain races, like Jews and other minorities. Some of these groups arrogantly think their laws are superior to the laws chosen by the people of North Carolina and America. And they actively want to promote these laws in exclusion to the existing laws here. Europe is experiencing this irreversible dilemma posed by parallel societies which do not value democracy and human life equally. The North Carolina Constitution preamble cites that the people of this state want to preserve liberties and that the continuation of these blessings to us and our posterity. This bill is one that will reaffirm the commitment for our current era that we live in to preserving these liberties. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Dr. Suzette Gabriel serves on the board of Al Karma Television, which is Arabic, a Christian television broadcasting network. She is a television host that reaches over 400 million Arabic-speaking nations. Dr. Suzette Gabriel.
Hi, good morning. My name is Suzette Gabriel. I'm originally born and raised in Egypt. I've been in America only 20 years of my adult life, but I'm here to support this bill 100% because it's not something I heard about or imagined, but it's something I've lived through until I was 29 years old when I moved to the States. So Sharia law is sometimes they come presenting something that could possibly look good on the outside, but when you look through it and experience it, it's a completely different story. And I'm here to make sure that the country I now love and I'm part with and I call home, and North Carolina is my state, that I don't want to see it turn one day, even 100 or 200 years from now, like Egypt is today, which is fully implementing Sharia law. And we see now Egypt going backwards with the speed of light in every aspect of life, not just women, men, children, education, every single thing in life is deteriorating. Human beings are losing their human rights. There's no freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of religion. There's absolutely no freedom in what is called Sharia law. I'm here to support that bill.
Thank you, Dr. Gabriel. Representative Chris Whitmire is the lead sponsor and author of HB 695, Foreign Laws Protecting Constitutional Rights. Representative Chris Whitmire.
Thank you, Sherry, and thanks for all. This is certainly a collaborative effort with many, many inputs from many people who have a vested interest, subject matter expertise. I will just very briefly give an overview of what House Bill 695 is and what it does. Its title is Foreign Laws Protect Constitutional Rights. And in a nutshell, it recognizes the U.S. Constitution, the Constitution of North Carolina, as the supreme law of our state, and it declares the public policy of North Carolina is to protect our citizens from the application of foreign law. This is not a blanket prohibition, it's a regulation in nature, but to protect our citizens from the application of foreign law in cases where fundamental constitutional rights of a natural person would be violated. It's a parameter to the context of family law under as defined in Section 50 and 58 of the General Statutes. And that, if for those who want to ask why, that's where the most egregious cases have occurred, and that captures many times where you have custody battles, divorce cases, etc., where someone who comes to the United States, the land of the free, the home of the brave, a country that is prescribes to the order of law and has good order and discipline in society, they and all of us, we need to have, if there's any application of a foreign law in our court, there has to be a line drawn to where if there's a violation of a fundamental constitutional right of a person, this bill clearly states, so that there's no question, what the public policy is of North Carolina. And, you know, we're not pioneering a path that no one else has gone. In our nation today, we have 5 states that have very similar bills, or laws that have been enacted. They have withstood the test of time. Tennessee led this, and their law is yet to be challenged. And for that matter, Tennessee, Louisiana, they've had their laws on the books for over 3 years without challenge. And they have also, those laws have come to play to actually protect and help. And oftentimes it applies most to women who are in a disadvantaged situation, like a custody case. And there are multiple case law examples to where, yes, in our great nation, we have had, in 23 states and counting, over 50 cases, 27 of which, and again, and counting, there has been infringements or significant violations of people's fundamental constitutional rights. And that's why this is necessary to do. And I will simply say I've got great faith in our judiciary system, especially in North Carolina. But again, this, as the legislative branch, we make the laws, the judiciary passes judgment, and this is just one way to clearly state that the Constitution and the rights that we have and we enjoy, whether it be due process, freedom of speech, or what have you, is protected by this. So we welcome your questions. I'll turn it back over to Sherry.
Concerned Women for America of North Carolina is hosting a legislative briefing this afternoon, American Laws for American Courts, protecting North Carolina from foreign laws and Sharia law. And with that, our speakers will now accept questions.